Hi everyone, I'm Abby Richey, a member of St. Gerard Parish and the Health and Wellness Committee at St. Gerard, and I'm also a registered dietitian. My presentation is a follow-up to Molly Porman's presentation on strategies to manage your emotional health during this time. During Molly's presentation, she talked about establishing a healthy routine and elements of that routine. And specifically, she talked about healthy eating being one of those strategies. So today I'm going to talk about some of those ideas that can help you stay healthy during this time and establish some healthful eating habits for your body and mind. Now, our health is on all of our minds today. Right now, we're all trying to protect ourselves and our family in any way that we can. And healthy eating is one of those strategies that we can work on to help support good health and immunity. But before we dive into the basics of healthy eating, let's reflect a moment on a verse from Scripture. Now, I am by no means an expert on Scripture passages, but I've heard this Scripture verse a few times in a couple different Bible studies, and it speaks to me because of my profession and because of my faith. This is from 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 31. Whatever you do, whether you eat or drink, do it all for God's glory. Take a minute to reflect on that scripture. Be mindful about it. I know this verse can apply to many different areas of life, and I'm sure someone's used it in a completely different way, but I think it can also apply to food. Bringing God into our life can change things, and bringing Him into our healthy eating habits can help us get a better grasp on those as well. Think about it. What would happen if we ate all foods, no matter the nutritional breakdown or what it was, for the glory of God? What if we thought about God in all of our food choices and how much food that we ate? What if we started every meal, again, no matter what the meal included, with a grateful heart for the food that we're blessed with, to provide a way to take care of the body that God has given us? When I'm more mindful and have time to reflect on that verse, I'm more grateful and I improve my eating habits. So take a few moments this week or in the coming weeks, reflect on this verse a little bit yourself in any scope of your life, but in particular about your healthy eating habits. Try to be more mindful about it. Now, being mindful about your food intake can help you choose nutritious foods for meals and snacks. And when I talk about being mindful about your food intake, I'm really talking about just paying attention to what you're eating, why you're eating, how you feel when you're eating, and how much you're eating. Now, right now, our mindfulness might be a little bit off. There are so many distractions going on right now. But it's something that we really want to work on. And here are a few tips to help you combat some of that mindlessness as you're eating throughout the day. You want to look at your hunger. Being mindful helps you recognize hunger and helps you enjoy food. So a good way to do this is to rate your hunger on a scale of 1 to 10. Number 1 being that you're so physically hungry that your stomach is growling and you don't have enough energy to do things. So you need to eat to relieve that growling and help you have that good energy. Number 10 would be that you're so stuffed that you feel sick. We don't want to get to number 10. We want to stay around a number 5. We want to aim for a 5 so that we eat to feel satisfied and we know that we can make it a few hours before our next meal. Another good tip about being mindful is just recognizing that hunger, whether it's physical hunger or emotional hunger. Now, I said physically hungry at 1 was having that growling stomach and not having a lot of energy. Emotional hunger just usually comes out of nowhere and often is a result of a stressful event, like maybe an upsetting phone call. It causes us to be mindless about what we're eating and be very emotional and go get something to eat that maybe we don't necessarily need because of physical hunger. So a good tip to recognize what type of hunger you're having is if you're feeling like you were wandering around in the house or something's upset you and you go to the kitchen to grab something to eat, ask yourself this: would a piece of fruit satisfy the hunger that you're feeling? If it doesn't satisfy that hunger, you're probably not physically hungry. You're probably emotionally hungry. And what you should try to do instead is find a distraction from the food that you're trying to eat by going for a walk, reading a book, calling a friend, something like that to get your mind off of that emotional hunger that you have. So being more mindful about the choices you're making eating. When we have a healthy mindset about eating, we can make good choices to support our health and immunity. Now this slide is going to talk about a variety of whole foods to include every day for good health and optimal immunity. And when I talk about whole foods, I really just mean less processed foods. So it's more in their whole food form. So for fruits and vegetables, the recommendation for fruits and vegetables is actually that we have 5 cups every day. And it can be in its fresh produce form. Frozen is also a great option. And canned foods can also provide us with the antioxidants and fiber that fresh and frozen provide as well. Those antioxidant fiber help get us that optimal health and immunity that we want during this time, and especially just for long-term health. So a variety of fruits and vegetables. We also want to include whole grains every day. When I say whole grain, I mean grains that come from the whole seed. So it's less processed. It has more fiber, it has more protein that's good for our body. We need that protein for good, boosting our immune system, for good immunity. We need that fiber for a healthy digestive tract. So whole wheat pasta, this is quinoa, or farro you could also choose as a nice grain to have, or whole grain rice is another good option. Oats or whole grain cereals, whole grain bread. Those are great options to get in whole grains that are higher in fiber and great for our digestive tract, helping lowering cholesterol as well. Now this group is nuts, seeds, and oil. Nut seeds and healthy oils like canola oil or olive oil, walnut oil, or avocado oil are all good sources of healthy fats for the body. These healthy fats often act as anti-inflammatories, meaning that they're helping prevent inflammation in the body. The thing about nuts, seeds, and oils, though, is that they are high in fat, so they have more calories per gram. So small amounts of these foods go a long way. So when you do try to choose nuts or seeds, go for a small handful versus a large bowlful. The small handful will get you the nutrients for good health. This third group is the dairy group. This is including low-fat dairy every day. And it's actually recommended that we get 3 cups of dairy every day. Now there's a wide variety of calcium and vitamin D foods that we can get today that are non-dairy sources. But if you can include dairy sources every day, it's also good for our health. Not only do you get calcium and vitamin D for your bone health, but there's also a great source of protein. And in yogurt, there's good source of probiotics, which are that healthy bacteria that keep our digestive system full of good bacteria that actually destroy some of the harmful bacteria we get that enters through our digestive tract when we eat food that has bacteria on it. So getting a healthy dose of yogurt or low-fat milk every day is a great source to help keep our immune system strong. The last group I have on here is including lean proteins every day too, and a variety of those as well. In particular on here, there is fish. It's actually recommended that we have 8 ounces of fish every week. That's because fish have very healthy fats that are known to be anti-inflammatory as well. So they help prevent inflammation in the body. In particular, looking at salmon, which is a really great source of omega-3 fatty acids. But there are lots of protein sources, lean cuts of pork, beef, skinless chicken, there's eggs on here, and even non-meat sources of protein like beans and nuts and seeds. That good protein helps us maintain an optimal immunity for good health. So a variety of sources. There's a lot of pictures on this slide. The important part of this slide is including the variety. If we're able to get a variety every day of fruits, whole grains, vegetables, nuts, seeds, dairy, and protein, then we'll get these vitamins and minerals and nutrients that we need to support our health during times where illnesses, infections are high, but also just optimal health for a lifetime. So what does that look like when we put it on a plate then? Well, you take those categories on the last slide and put them into a plate. This is called the Healthy Eating Plate, and it's from Harvard School of Public Health. It's very similar to the My Plate from USDA. I like this because it shows that half of our plate every day, or at every meal, should really come from fruits and vegetables. And then a quarter of the plate should be from our whole grains, and another quarter of our plate from a healthy, lean protein source. This shows us the balance and moderation of those food groups that I had listed on the previous slide. So we need more of the fruits and vegetables than we do of the grains and the healthy protein. These are the proportions. This is what our plate should look like when we have our lunch and our dinner, and even our breakfast at times can look somewhat like this. So if you also notice, 75% of this plate, fruits, vegetables, and grains, are all from plant-based foods. That's because these foods are what contain phytochemicals or antioxidants that can help prevent inflammation in the body and keep our immune system strong. So incorporating quite a bit of those food groups every day get you those nutrients that are listed to support a healthy immune system. Doesn't mean protein isn't as important. It's equally important. We just need it in moderate amounts for good health. So how do we get to that plate? Well, you want to take small steps. You want to start where you are. Don't try to eat the healthy eating plate tomorrow. Start with one of the groups. Do one thing at a time. Make that change, maintain it, and then try something else. If you start with one group at a time, like vegetable group, maybe you're not eating very many vegetables right now and you want to try to add one to dinner every day. Then maybe the next day you're able to add it to lunch, and you just keep building on that until you achieve the goal that you want for that healthy eating plate. And once you achieve that, then you work on something else until you get to that end goal of that balance, moderation, and variety shown on that healthy eating plate. Another strategy to help you get that variety and balance and moderation is to use simple recipes. It may be a really stressful time for a lot of us right now. If cooking stresses you out further, find recipes that use simple ingredients and less processes. On the flip side of things, if cooking seems to be a stress reliever for you, mix it up. Try a different variety of food to help improve your diet and add more nutrients to it for good health. Whatever you do, any small step that you take in your diet habits, don't forget to celebrate that success. When you can make a small change, achieve it, and maintain it, it deserves a little bit of celebration. Another way to help you make sure that you maintain variety and moderation and balance is to plan. Plan a menu for the week ahead before going to the store. Plan for it to have variety. Plan for each meal to include a lot of those groups in the right proportions. Once you've planned those dinner meals and planned for leftovers and have your breakfast food items planned out, make a list of what you need at the store and then stick to it. When you stick to that list, you spend less money, and there's also a lot less food waste. Buy enough for the week and stick to it. When you buy enough just for that week, you're less likely to have food waste at the end, and again, have a lot less food costs. So planning can be a big part of getting good nutrition for health. Another tip is to make your meals a family affair. We know on this infographic, it shows that research says that families that eat together typically have better nutrition. Their parents are able to model healthy behaviors that set kids up for good eating behaviors later in life. Kids and families that eat together also eat more fruits and vegetables, which we know is good for our health. And it also just increases family bonding time. We take longer at meals, we're more mindful. A second way to get meals more of a family affair is to get your kids involved in the kitchen. Kids of all ages can do different things in the kitchen. Your 3 to 5 year old can mix ingredients, tear lettuce, press in cookie cutters. Your 10-year-old might be able to slice and chop things. They might be able to use the appliances at home. Whatever their level is, try to get them involved. Start slow, give them time to master the tasks, but allow them to help in the kitchen. Allowing them to help increases their curiosity of the foods that they're eating. It allows them to feel the senses related to eating. They can touch the food, they can see the food, they can taste it, they can smell it. It makes them more curious about it. It makes the likelihood of them eating an unfamiliar food and a variety of foods better as well. So their eating habits will improve. It also helps them have some sense of pride of the meal that they helped prepare. So getting kids in the kitchen is good for everybody's health. Here's a couple pictures of my kids in the kitchen. This is my 12-year-old making roasted cauliflower. This is one of the favorite vegetables that we like to roast at our house. He just cuts it up, washes it, cuts it up, drizzles a little bit of olive oil on it, and then adds in the spices or seasonings that he likes. He's gotten very good at it and makes it much better than I do. And then these are my younger kids, my 7-year-old daughter and my 10-year-old son. And here they're mixing up spaghetti and meatballs. They did a really great job, and it was also very yummy. But anything your kids can do in the kitchen is going to be helpful for the family. And the last tip I've got on here for a healthy mind and body is just don't forget to take a night or two off. This is a really stressful time for a lot of people. If you've taken the time to plan a lot throughout the week with your menus and trying to get things balanced and in moderation, give yourself a break one night. Support your local food establishments by ordering a meal to go. There are probably a few St. Gerard parishioners that own restaurants. Go out and support them, get a meal from them, enjoy it, and appreciate the nights that you cook and the nights that you don't have to cook as well. So that is my quick review of healthy eating for body and mind. Just remember to be very mindful. Keep that verse in mind. I encourage you to look back on that and reflect on it. I think if we reflect on that a little bit more, it might help you in choosing more variety of foods, helping you balance out your healthy eating plate a little bit more each day and being moderate about the amounts that we eat for good health. It might also help you make some small changes and encourage you to make those changes and build on them to get to that healthy eating plate. It might also help you be more mindful when you're planning menus and more mindful at meal times with your kids and having patience and doing it for the glory of God. And don't forget to give yourself a break. Go out and support those local establishments. Take a night off, have less stress for one night. Don't forget to be mindful about it when you do go out and eat at those local restaurants. Still try to make good choices, but enjoy the good food. So thanks for letting me do this presentation. I just wanted to leave you with a couple helpful resources. Sparrow has on YouTube what we call Sparrow Healthy Bites. It's really short videos of us making a recipe. It includes the ingredients, the video of us making it, and the health benefits. A second resource is thegourmetrd.com. She has a lot of great recipes and some good tips and healthy nutrition that she shares. And the last one is eatright.org, which is from the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. This is where I get a lot of good information. It's strong, sound nutrition principles and how it relates to health. It's based on scientific evidence. So a great resource now and really anytime in the future when you're looking for nutrition resources. So thanks for letting me do the presentation. Stay safe, stay well, and God bless.